everyone, I'm Jen Miller with Compass Real Estate, and welcome to another episode of Life on the North Side. Today I'm with Shawn Bergin, the owner of Bakery 4. Super excited to learn more about him today, and really appreciate you joining us today to talk more about the business and what you guys have going on.
Absolutely.
So if you don't mind, let's start out with just describing what Bakery 4 is all about.
Yeah, so we specialize in French style, laminated pastries, croissants, things like that. Big European style sourdough loaves. Everything we do is natural leavened, so we focus on that. Long fermentation, stone milled grains, imported, anything that we can find, really, butter, chocolate, local dairy and produce as well. That's kind of like a big thing. That's kind of all the product stuff that we do.
So what made you want to start this business?
So I was in sales and marketing, and I did that from when I was probably 20, when I was almost done with school, until I was, 32.
Okay.
And so I was doing bread and pastry on the side, like just for fun, making like pizza parties, bread, stuff like that for friends and family. And people were like, "Oh, this is great. You should like sell it."
Do it.
We were in DC at the time. It was really, really expensive to do like anything there. Real estate is even more expensive than where Denver is right now. So the cook-top, serve-top model is very, very difficult to get into.
Okay.
So I started to think about what I could do to like break into the market, and bread was like a natural fit.
Yeah.
And so I kind of started doing that, but we realized DC was too expensive. So my wife was an interior designer, and we kind of looked at different markets where we could where she could transfer to, keep her job, and I would have left my job. Okay. So we decided to do that. And Denver was one of the places on our list. And as soon as we got here, we actually had an Airbnb right down in the Highlands, and we just fell in love with the area.
Okay.
And then our first bakery was literally right around the corner from where we first stayed. So
it's right down the street from my old house.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. Yeah. My house now. So are you originally from the East Coast?
Yeah. So me and my wife both grew up in upstate New York. Which is where we kind of fell in love with bagels and pizza and that sort of stuff. And then, oh, nice. Yeah. So we moved down. We're from like 3 hours north of Philly. Yeah. So we're at the Bergin area. Yeah. Yeah, right on 81. Wow. Yeah. And then, so we moved down to Lynchburg, Virginia after school to live with my parents for a little bit to kind of like get settled. And then we ended up down in Richmond where my wife finished school, and then DC, which is where I was working. Yeah. So up and down the East Coast.
Yeah. Smaller.
It is. Quieter.
Yeah. So what is a memorable customer experience that you've had? I'm sure there's quite a few.
Yeah, I mean, I would say just like getting to see, especially because we started like right during COVID. Oh, yeah. I would say like seeing all the kids grow up now, and like having like the moms come in when they were pregnant, and now we get to meet their kids, and then they have siblings now too. Oh, yeah. It's probably like the coolest like customer experience I think that I can think of. Just being able to like get pastries for like a 1-year-old's birthday, and now they're 4, and they have like a little brother and sister, and they're turning 1.
My son was just 2 months old when
he opened. It's just really, really cool to see that and like watch families grow, because pastries are obviously like a huge part of childhood. Yeah. So kids are our best customers, and they just keep bringing the parents back, and it's just like it's a nice.
We like it too. But it's a good excuse that the kids have to have.
Yeah, and now we're right across the street from the park.
Yes.
Which is even better too. So
it's even more dangerous. It's like a double dose. So, what is your favorite item on the menu?
I like the classic stuff. So classic croissants, classic country loaf. I don't have a huge sweet tooth, so my wife is kind of like. Who I like get to pawn all like the tasting off onto.
Okay. That's really good.
Yeah. The morning one is great. The citrus and the cinnamon work really well together to kind of balance out the sweetness. So those things are like also the first things that I formulated. So close to my heart. Yeah. But you can't go wrong with like chocolate cookie and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. You guys have great menu. So what kind of goals do you guys have for this next year?
Oh man. For the next, I would say, for 2023, the main thing is getting the bagel shop open over in Wheat Ridge. Yeah. We're really excited about that. And then kind of just growing the business into more days, more hours, more product, that sort of thing. Okay. Is definitely on like the forefront of my mind always. And kind of just how can we get as much product to as many people as possible, shorten the lines, increase accessibility, and keep pricing the same are all the kind of things that we think about on a daily basis. Yeah.
That's always appreciated.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the bagel place.
I know.
And especially knowing you're from the East Coast.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's cool because like we've been able to take the formula for the bagels is kind of our take on a classic bagel. So taking aspects of different bagels and kind of putting our sourdough spin on it and kind of making something that's our own. Not a lot of people are doing sourdough bagels. They try to stick more like yeasted.
Yeah.
And since everything we do is sourdough, it just makes more sense to go our route and kind of put our twist on it.
Unique. Yeah. Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
So what's the hardest part or most surprising part that you've experienced since owning your own business?
Probably like staffing and costs, I think are like the biggest that you're just like, wow.
Okay.
It costs a lot of money to grow your team and have a lot of staff. I mean, we just added another stage, and now we have 23 people on our team, which is something I never envisioned. When we opened, I had like budgeted for like 4 front of house people and 6 back of house.
Oh.
And so we've almost doubled that.
Yeah.
And we're still growing.
Okay.
And so to think that that is where we're at now, and to just knowing like how people don't really realize that how much it costs, like pay taxes on your employees and pay taxes on yourself,
Sure.
and to pay sales tax and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And have that be like obviously you read about it, but you don't really understand what it actually costs until it comes about.
Oh yeah.
And then benefits, like we offer health coverage and PTO for everybody. So like those things add up, but some of them are self-inflicted and some of them are just like things that are just growing pains, like understanding what it actually costs to run the business, which is, it is what it is. But it's just an unexpected thing where you're just like, holy cow. And then also because of COVID, which things are starting to level out now, but the cost of ingredients. Because everything spiked, like everyone sees it at the grocery store.
Yeah.
But people don't really realize that like a lot of the things that we buy here, especially for a bakery, is that we pay retail or more than retail for a lot of stuff. And so like milk, you can get milk cheaper at Walmart than you can, and we get it wholesale.
That's crazy.
Yeah, eggs are another one. We buy them by the case, so it was to the point where $130 a case for eggs. Now they're back down to 30, which is incredible. But like to think that they were in the mid 20s, low 30s, and then went all the way to 130, and we were just trying to weather the storm, and we did without raising any prices, which is great. But things are starting to come back down. Importing costs are now lower. Shipping costs are starting to come back to where they were, so it kind of makes everything a little bit easier. But that's another thing that you just don't expect.
Oh, yeah.
Like you don't expect
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't expect them to just kill a bunch of chickens and turn the price of eggs to skyrocket like
Right?
tenfold.
You
Yeah.
can just get chickens in the backyard
Yeah.
here and keep coming.
I know. I wish we could have.
Right. So what else do you like to do outside of work?
Spend a lot of time with family, my wife, my dogs. We're trying to start a family ourselves. And then the gym.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's where I go to like disconnect from everything, kind of shut off for a little bit.
That's good.
And you know me just from communicating that like I do all of Instagram accounting.
You're all over.
Yeah, all of our staffing, all of our formulating, inventory, all that stuff. And it can be a lot sometimes, but that's where I get like an hour and a half to myself to just, yeah.
You just shut it all off.
Yeah.
So
Try to at least.
Yeah. What is something people might not know about you?
I don't know. Well, I don't really have many things that I like withhold from people. So like I'm pretty open with everything.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing probably is that I'm self-taught, and I never worked in a bakery until I opened my own bakery. Which is like something that people don't really expect.
Yeah.
The quality of our product, people usually, the most common question that I get is asked if I train in Tokyo.
Really?
Which is interesting because I feel like there's just a lot of bakeries that are popping up in Tokyo. A lot of really great pastry and really nice bread is coming out of there right now. And so it's a common question that I get. Yeah. So anybody who's been there or been to France, they always ask if we train there, but I get asked more often Tokyo than Paris.
Interesting.
Which is very odd. But
Should just start saying
I know, right? Yeah.
Did I meet you there?
There's actually a really funny rumor that Alex and I we lived in New York City and came to Denver every Wednesday to work at the bakery until Monday, and then went back to New York City,
No.
which was,
Yeah, obviously you did.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it just makes sense. Yeah.
Now, is there anything exciting going on that customers should know about coming up?
Opening on Wednesdays is something that we're actively working towards. Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe by the time this comes up, we'll actually be open on Wednesdays.
Okay.
But it's just a matter of growing the team and figuring that stuff out logistically, moving people around. And then hopefully being able to add like delivery and pickup stuff will be in the future after that.
Okay.
Because it's just about spreading out demand over more days. So that way we actually have the product to pre-sell. Yeah.
Yes, great. So what is the best way for customers to get in touch if they have any questions or
Instagram
signs coming into
Yeah, I would say coming in is great because then one, people can catch me off guard, and two, I can like step out for a second. But I would say Instagram, just DMs is the best way to do it until that isn't something that I manage anymore, social media side. But Instagram is always the best way.
Thank you so much, Shawn.
Yeah.
It's so great learning more about you and Big Before. And again, I'm Jen Miller with Compass Real Estate. See you on the next episode.